MV3 Traders Futures Trade Radio is brought to you by the Ultimate Trader's Guide, your one-stop shop for the most valuable income-producing information on the internet. Go to ultimatetradersguide.net to learn more. Link in the description below. All right, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? How we doing? Got about 30 seconds before the open. Pretty much it's been hanging out sideways for most of the session. We had a little gap down for the session open last night. Quickly took that out about, within like the first few hours during the Asian session. And we've been just basically hanging out sideways, trading between PR plus 2 and PR 50 ever since. So I got to remind myself that I'm going to focus on what I'm supposed to be doing, on my execution. That I'm not really, probably won't do a whole lot of narration until, I get to the point to where I'm about ready to not take any more trades. But from my perspective, what that means is I'm going to be like speaking out loud when I see stuff, just to make sure my awareness is where I'm supposed to be. So like when I'm trading by myself, say this real quick before my window opens. When I'm trading by myself, sometimes I'll speak out what I'm looking for and what I'm reading out loud. That's just to make sure my awareness is on point. It kind of helps, right? So let me get focused. Right now we're looking at supply around 360, our inventory. Like we're playing around that automation, that 264 area. We got supply up there at the session high around 375. From a daily perspective, I also have 256 simple moving average up there in that same little area, that same range. See if we lift the supply. Right now we're holding the supply. All right, there's a lift. See if we get some takeoff and some follow through. It'd be nice if we get some nice squeezing follow through, taking advantage of all the stops that were created from the overnight action. First supply hit around right before 395. Looking to see how long that lasts. I could keep going. I went ahead and took profit there. That's a nice first trade. It looks like we're gonna keep seeing the supply. We're gonna kind of hold supply there at 395, coming back into our that overnight session high. Back inside the range, back inside the overnight range. Right back to that inventory that we had at 360. Seems like I've been saying that 360 a lot lately. We're gonna pick up some more inventory there. Just by the way that played out, if I'm not gonna speculate too much, but to say if any new buyers come in here, it'd be interesting to see if they actually. So we are seeing some new buyers. A lot of that could have been some short covering, but you know it's both sides. So let me not go down that path for myself. All I need to focus on is the wholesale perspective. I don't care. If I see buyers and sellers there, I don't really care what their intent is. I'm more focused on my intent. Nope. And real quick, kind of need to test something out. That's interesting. Back into that inventory. Actually did have a trigger there, but I needed to test some things out real quick, so I didn't take it. So we did drop the inventory slightly. Kind of just set up the shop here between 360 and 380. Explored outside of the shop, a little bit from that overnight high breakout. Came right back inside the shop. And then we dropped the inventory down to about 353. Got supply at 380. That session high. Alright, there's a supply lift. Are we gonna go back above that overnight session high? Alright, so we're back up there. Back above the overnight session high. Kinda somewhat picked up some inventory off of automation at 367. From the way that it typically happens, it's not strong inventory as of yet. See if we get one more retest of that session high, the overnight session high. Just looking at this from a micro level, I can see got some wicks off of that 380 area. Showing quick inventory. We're looking to see if we hold that inventory. That could take us to higher prices, possibly give us a rally. If this area breaks down, and I'd be looking to see if, we go back inside of that range and go back inside of the shop and actually break down, or are we gonna hold that range for a while? So far that's breaking down. Of course, anything is possible. We want to always keep that in mind. Nothing is 100%. Nothing is guaranteed in this environment. Just looking at probabilities. We did pick up some more inventory there off at 380. Not seeing a lot of energy up here though. If I was a buyer off that 380, I would want to see that. I would want to see price keep going, especially off of that move there, coming back into the session high. I wouldn't want to play around with this area for too long. Coming right back to that inventory. Came back into it and dropped it. We dropped our inventory. Now let's see how low do we go back inside of automation. Had a couple points where we took a break here in this shop area, but our main inventory is around 352, right above 352 actually. However, before that, we got a rotation point by my read. Of course, it's just a personal thing at 360. So now we have inventory interest down there. We'll see where we go from here, where we take that. Also got some MSRP at that 353 area. So if we quickly get supply here, that could take us out of this shop, at least briefly. We do got the MSRP that some algos can use to do something with. You want to keep that in mind. They're also coming down to VWAP around 340. So we broke that MSRP and then we came back and we're gonna test it out one more time. Conduct some more business off of that. Making our way back to the low of that shop where we was picking up inventory before. And we got about 10 minutes before the B period rotation or transitioning into B period. Now from a micro level, that broke out as a drop of supply to around 358. And on that note, I'm gonna take a break. I was supposed to actually be short here, but I missed it. It happened quickly. And in all honesty, I'm at a point to where I could be good for the day. I don't get too aggressive on my FTR days because it's got so much other things to focus on. But I'm gonna keep reading. I'm not gonna, stop with my analysis and all that stuff. Right now, we're just kind of negotiating in this 10-point range. It's really mechanical, actually. He brought automation down to join the party. It's sitting right there at that 360 area. And since this kind of just popped into my head, and since I am taking at least a break, so it's gonna be another day, where there won't be a trader triggers after this. But because what I'm trying to do is also I got some other things, some videos to record, and the way I've been doing is with my schedule. It's been kind of not able to put out all the content that I have planned to put out as fast as I want to put out. So I'm trying to restructure this and just come up with a good plan where I won't get, that pretty much respects everything that I got going on. Because there's some stuff that I want to talk about with Sierra chart. Then there's another platform I need to review. Got a lot of stuff on the that I listed out to make videos on. But I also don't want to stop the trader trigger. So I just need to get everything organized and come up with a good, feasible plan. With everything that I have going on right now. But there will be a trader triggers at some point this week. So we are lifting supply. We lifted supply back to 370. Still looking at this as trading mechanically. They brought supply back up to that PR+2 area. Now PR+2 is marked off at 377.5. They're stepping our way back into higher prices, back to that overnight session high. Now, I could see the potential for some short interest up here, being that we attempted to make new highs above that overnight session high multiple times and failed. So that could entice some shorts to come in and see this as a level of resistance to try to take some shorts off of, or initiate some short positions. And then from that, if that happens, depending on how strong they are and what their intent is, lower prices could see some stalling with them covering. Then it also depends on those lower prices, who is there to buy, what the shorts have to sell. Or, yeah, who is there to sell what the shorts have to buy, because they have to buy the cover. Now, wholesale is always going to be on the other end of that trade, but at the same time, wholesale wants to see participation from the overall market before they decide to take on that risk. We're negotiating around that overnight session high. It's 375 to about 384-ish range. Seeing some volume coming there around 375. And since we did entice some shorts to initiate there, of course above that we're going to create some stops. So if we want to take prices higher, we have plenty of liquidity to do so at this point by the way that we've negotiated here. But just because it's there doesn't mean we have to use it. That did give us some, I would just call it weak inventory at 375, and we've broken that. This last 10 minutes has felt like an eternity. But we still got about 2 minutes to go before B period. Got an inventory response at 370. Which is immediately breaking down. Coming back into automation. I also got some MSRP down there. In this 370 to 360 range. Bringing it back up to that 380 area. An overnight session high. The current supply. Another supply response. Supposed to be marking those off. All right, there's another supply lift. Quickly picked up some energy there. See how long it lasts. as we come into B period. Got a slight momentum boost, or energy boost. The way that played out, I wouldn't necessarily expect us to go back above 384. Now, just because I don't think that's going to happen doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And if it does go back above there, we've created a lot of stops above that area. So it would be interesting to see what happens if that was to happen. As of right now, we're still conducting business in the overall shop. And that shop right now is kind of being well, we opened the shop up more so I've turned into like a mall between 350-ish to 390. Once again, picked up some inventory off of 360. Seeing a mechanical supply response off of automation and MSRP. Got another supply response off of that 375 to 380 area, and the way that printed on the micro scale, if we break above that, that could give us some momentum. But we also do have that B-force supply, like up to around 356 and 386. So coming out of this area here, where price is right now, we should see something should happen. At least for a brief moment. We're still negotiating here. kind of glad I decided to go ahead and call it a day, because this is not the most, for me personally, this is not the most exciting price action to trade. I mean, it can get kind of frustrating with the way that they're conducting business right now. Even though in hindsight capital says this is a completely tradable, and trades would have worked out. It's just really would have really tested our patience. And patience in this environment goes a long way. Because this is an environment where money can be made quickly, it's hard for us to, kind of pushes your patience to the limit, so to speak. It makes it hard to be patient versus other areas where the expectation is not for things to work out so quickly when it comes to making money. It's like when you go to your job, you're not expecting to get paid that day unless you got some kind of under the table kind of job, or you're doing something to where it's like a temporary thing and they will pay you for your work that day, but you still got to put in that day's work before you even get that payout from what you did that day. Here in this environment, it's immediate. So if you're going to make money, you're going to make it right away as soon as you close the position. And also in this environment, with it being such a an environment for quick transactions, this can also happen in the opposite direction, to where you can quickly lose money. It's putting more pressure on your patience, because in other environments that doesn't happen. If you go to work today, you're going to get paid 99% of the time, unless you got some kind of crappy employer that's trying to take advantage of you. But we're not talking about that exception. We're talking about what generally happens. And if you go to work somewhere, by law, you have to get paid for that work. So you don't have that potential to lose. So now we're finally taking advantage of those stops that we spent so much time meticulously creating. So we should have some momentum, but we're not at our session high yet. Our session high is around $397. This thing should really take off up here. Leaving the only question to be how far does it take off to? But I mean, we kind of took us some momentum almost back to the session high. There's a bit of front running there. It should give us even more reasons to take off once we get into new session highs. There's a new high. Also kind of brings up the idea to where, and I've been in this business long enough to where I've seen a lot of different setups and a lot of people who like to look at what they like to look at, and they put all kind of indicators and stuff on their charts, and reading order flow, all that stuff is good, right? If it makes sense to you, then go ahead and it's good that you're using it if it makes sense to you and it's helping you achieve what you're trying to achieve. But for me personally, as we didn't have a lot of momentum there off of all of those stops, so we quickly got a supply response off of 405. I had to mention that. But the whole point I'm trying to say is, what I've discovered is it's not everything is in the price action. So, like, while I have a few things on my charts where I can kind of read some order flow and I got some indicators there to where I can kind of find some algorithms and all of that stuff, what I've discovered is that everything is really in structure and price action. So, but you got to be able to see it, right? So if you can't see it, then all those other things are helpful to kind of get an idea of what could happen next, the probability of what could happen next, right? No matter, unless you're the one pulling the pushing the buttons on the back end, you have no idea what's going to happen next. But we can use history and we can use the past experiences to kind of get an idea for the probability of something taking place, in the near future. Whether that near future is a minute from now or is, a year from now. But the overall point as I'm making is that everything is actually in the price action and structure. And I do like volume, also like volume by price. And I'm comfortable with using that. But I don't really pay a lot of attention to it. So the only reason I'm saying that is, contrary to popular belief, volume is not it's not absolutely necessary. And I stopped using volume by time from a time scale because I saw a long time ago that it was actually baked into the print on the chart. By my perspective, of course. So that's just me trusting what I see and trusting myself and trading from within. Of course, if you see something different and something else makes more sense to you, you can completely ignore what I'm talking about and stick to that. I would encourage you to completely, if what I'm saying doesn't make sense to you and you see it another way, completely ignore what I'm talking about and trust yourself. But we're still doing business up here. Still kind of lifting the inventory. Off of this 400 area, I've read a rotation. So we'll see how much weight that carries into the rest of the session. But we at the end of my trade window, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut things down on my end. I'll come back and check it out later, but I'm done for the day. So off that rotation, that'll be a rotation long. Again, this is not trading advice. I'm just sharing with the way that I read this. And with that quick supply that we had at 305 or 405, of course we should have more stops up here as I'm saying that, and we're lifting the session high, lifting the supply, but not with a whole lot of momentum as of yet. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. I can check that out later, but I'm going to go ahead and shut things down for the day. I appreciate everybody for coming through, trading with me, hanging out with me. Hope you have a good rest of your session. Hope you have a good week. And until next time, trade it easy.